The Eagles are one of the world's most successful bands, and they are in the country right now. You are a big fan, aren't you, Craig?
I'm a huge fan, Sarah. Yeah, 6 Grammy Awards. I said 150 million albums worldwide. They've sold across those songs over 7 albums. And you realise it was Linda Ronstadt who actually got them together back in the late 60s, early 70s. Oh, yeah, because she was looking for some kind of session musos. And out of the ether, Bob Don Henley and Glenn Fry and Bernie Leadon, and they sang on an album or 2 of hers, and they sang at a concert for her in Disneyland.
She did a great version of Desperado as well.
Incredible. I know. Not a lot of people know that there's that link between the Eagles and the fabulous Linda Ronstadt. And so, of course, the Eagles name, Eagles actually, not the Eagles, but, you know, it was hatched in the Mojave Desert after a tequila bender. That's what it was. But look, all of that and so much more you are about to hear, because the Eagles have landed. They are in Australia, about to kick off their, what may be their last Australian tour. And how lucky is Angela Bishop? She nabbed this incredible sit-down. I'm so jealous. Over to you, Ange.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Welcome back to Australia. It's so exciting to have you here. The history of the Eagles tour, what are we going to see?
It's my favorite show we've ever put together, as a matter of fact. And I think part of it is because it is a bit of a story. It does follow some degree of timeline.
Well, I'm running down the road trying to loosen my load. I got 7 women on my mind.
The documentary has gone so incredibly well for you, the history of the Eagles. Why were you filming so much in those early days?
We didn't know we were. All of that stuff got archived, and we had pretty much forgotten about it.
Some of the things you guys said back in the day, some of the comments like, you know, we want longevity, we want to figure out how to stay on top of the mountain because it's narrow and windy up here, I think was the quote from Don, and that sort of thing. It's just an insight into how much you were concentrating on doing a great job every time, that perfection was no accident. That's what you were after, and to be able to have that insight is quite extraordinary.
We had a very good work ethic. We worked hard. We partied hard, but we worked hard.
He was a hard-headed man. He was brutally handsome.
We never in our wildest dreams figured on being this successful and lasting this long.
So if you look around, here you are still at the top of your game, still selling out concerts around the world, wherever you go, including places you've never been before. When you look at some bands today, do you see any that you think have it in them to go 40 years, 50 years?
I think times have changed now. You know, I think it's harder to build a long career because everything's so immediate. You have a hit record, and the next thing you know, everybody knows everything about you.
Which band out there would you say could do it?
Oh, gosh, that I don't know.
One Direction?
Harry's a friend of mine.
Harry Styles?
He's got a good head on his shoulders. You know, he has good perspective of what's going on right now, and he's enjoying himself too.
She belongs to me. Desperado. Why don't you come to your senses?
When you say you know so much about the band straight away, I learned things about you guys in the documentary that I didn't know. Were you a bit surprised how honest you all were?
I learned a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I never quite really knew if Don Henley actually liked me or not. Until I watched the documentary. Yeah, he likes me. But I spent 30 years wondering.
There's the great parts in the early part where you're all famous for throwing the TVs out the window and trashing the hotel rooms with your very dear friend Keith Moon.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the stuff of rock and roll legend. But then to open up about your fight with drugs and alcohol, was that tough for you?
What was tougher was to see some of the stuff that was archived, to look at where I was at. Kind of scary to me and kind of embarrassing. But it's part of the truth. I'm so grateful that I found myself again, and that was quite a journey, getting sober.
When we put the band back together in 1994 and Joe started his journey towards sobriety, it really helped all of us. We've really changed our lifestyles, and not just in the last 5 years, not just in the last 10 years, but probably in the last 25 years. We all want to feel good, and we all want to continue doing this. And I think we're all committed to doing whatever it takes to make that happen. And if it's rest, and if it's vocal calisthenics, if it's going to the gym, if it's drinking hot liquids, if it's drinking the right things, eating the right way, we've been doing that for a while now.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
I did like in the documentary when you mention the fact that you've been asked approximately 1 million times what Hotel California means. What's the funniest answer you've ever given anyone?
What we most often say
Yeah.
is, it's whatever you think it means.
A guy said to me, you know, Joe, I've been waiting like 30 years to find out what Hotel California really means. And so I'm going to ask you, what does it mean? And I said, well, it means you're pretty dumb if you spent 30 years trying to figure out that.